Good morning. Hello, this is your host Iram Shah with another weekly edition of Winning Women on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. This show aims to champion inspiring women across different sectors and from a diverse range of backgrounds. I'll be showcasing a new guest every week. Today I have with me Iram Shah, the UK's first hijab-wearing firefighter. We're going to be talking about her journey, on how she started, and any obstacles and barriers she's facing, challenges, and just to inspire you all. So do get involved by texting us on 074 11 191062, or if you're listening live on YouTube or Facebook, you can comment on the video below. So let's welcome Iram. Hello. Hello. Hello, Iram. Iram, are you on the line? We'll just check in to see where Iram is, but in the meantime, if you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, do comment below. Tell me how you want to get involved. Say hello as well. So this, we're just waiting to see where Iram is. We'll try again. Okay, we're just going to try and make contact with Iram again. Excuse me, sorry. So in the meantime, if this is the first time you're listening in, I'd love for you to get involved and say hello. Tell me what you're getting up to on this glorious sunshine day. Tell me what you're doing. Are you working? Are you brunching? Are you having a late breakfast? Working? It'd be great to hear from you. We have had an inspiring guest every single week. I've received some lovely feedback and comments from all our listeners, so it'd be great to hear some more. Okay, so we're just going to try Iram again. Okay, we're just trying Iram again. Iram was all over the press over the last few months. You might have seen her in the mainstream media, being the UK's first hijab-wearing firefighter, which is incredible. So we're just going to try her again, see if it works. Okay, so so do get involved by commenting live on Facebook and YouTube. We'll go Iram on the line again. Hello. Hello, Iram. We've lost Iram again. We're going to try Iram. Can you hear me? No, we can't hear Iram. Okay, we'll go. Hello. Okay, so we might even put a track on for you this morning. If there's anything particular you want to listen to, do let me know. We're going to throw in a little bit of music on this glorious sunshine day. Tell me what you're doing. If you're listening for the first time, say hello. Tell me how you're listening as well. Are you listening on the radio? Are you listening on Facebook? Are you listening on YouTube? Right, so we've got something coming up very soon. So what we're listening to this morning. Okay, we've got we've got a nice song coming up now. Okay, enjoy.
If you ask me about love and wanna know about it, my answer would be it's everything about Allah, the pure love to our souls, the creator of you and me, the heavens and the whole universe, the one that made us whole and free, the guardian of his true believers. So when the time gets hard, there's no way to turn, as he promised he will always be there to bless us with his love and his mercy, 'cause as he promised he will always be there. He's always watching us, guiding us, and he knows what's deep in our hearts. So when you lose your way, to Allah you should turn, 'cause as he promised he will always be there. to the light. Subhanallah, capable of everything. We should never feel afraid of anything, as long as we follow His guidance all the way. Through our short time we have in this life, soon it'll all be over, and we'll be in His heaven, and we'll all be fine. So when the time gets hard, there's no way to turn. As He promised, He will always be there to bless us with His love and His mercy. 'Cause as He promised, He will always be there. He's always watching us, guiding us, and He knows what's deep in our hearts. So when you lose your way, to Allah you should turn. 'Cause as He promised, He will always be there. Allahu Akbar, 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 Allah. So when the time gets hard, there's no way to turn. As He promised, He will always be there to bless us with His love and His mercy. 'Cause as He promised, He will always be there. He's always watching us, guiding us, and He knows what's deep in our hearts. So when you lose your way, to Allah you should turn. 'Cause as He promised, He will always be there. Allahu Akbar, 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 Allahu Akbar,
Oh, welcome back to another edition of Winning Women. I hope you enjoyed the track. We're going to see if Arus is on the line with us. Arus is joining us this week. Hello, Arus, are you with us? Hello, Arusa? We're having a technical glitch this morning. We're waiting for Arusa to come online. I hope you're enjoying the tracks. Let me know how you're listening in. Are you listening on YouTube? Are you listening on Facebook? Are you listening in the car? Say hello if you're listening for the first time. Okay, we're just waiting for Arusa. Are you there? No, we're having some technical glitches. Oh, yeah, we're going to play another track whilst we're sorting this. I hope you're enjoying this glorious sunshine this morning. Another track on your way. Okay.
When you're searching for the light and you see no hope inside, be sure and have no doubt He is always close to you.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Winning Women. I think we're on track. Let's see. Hope you've enjoyed the music this morning. We've got Arusha Arshid on the line. Hello, Arusha, are you with us?
Hi, I'm here.
Yes, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Arusha. Sorry about the problems this morning.
That's okay. I'm sorry we couldn't connect earlier.
No, that's absolutely fine. Arusha, I introduced you earlier as the UK's first hijab-wearing firefighter. How does it feel to be known as this?
It's all still very strange. I mean, it's quite overwhelming because it's not something I kind of came into the job for or I thought about before joining. So now that it's come out as that, it's just overwhelming, I think.
And how do you describe yourself normally when people ask what you're doing? What do you do?
I simply say I'm a firefighter. That's all it is.
Yeah. And later, how did you start? Where did your first aspiration come from? Wanting to be a firefighter, Arisa?
It all started when I was little. I was still in school, and we had firefighters come to our school and do a talk about fire safety and not playing with matches and things like that. And it was from then that I just remember thinking, gosh, these guys are like superheroes. They're like real people that are saving lives and having a massive impact on the community. And this is the kind of cool thing that I want to do when I grow up. And I think it all started from there. But of course, back then it was just kind of a childhood dream. I didn't think it would actually come true or genuinely happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until I was a lot older that because that thought kind of stayed with me, and my mind just kept going back to that idea, that I thought, well, I've got to go for it. I can't keep ignoring this.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you when the firefighters came to visit?
I must have been about probably 6 or 7, maybe something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
So it wasn't just a passing thought, because I think most sort of early young children at that age always want to be a firefighter or a policeman or something. But is this just something?
Yeah.
It felt a little bit more deeper than that, did it?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, at the time, that's all I probably thought it was. But because it stayed with me throughout the years, every time I thought about what I wanted to do as a career, my mind just kept coming back to that thought. So it obviously had a lasting impact on me.
Yeah. And then at what age did you start really feeling as if this is something you want to work towards?
I think it was towards the end of secondary school, so around like the 15, 16 age.
Mm-hmm.
Even then I thought I was going to carry on studying into my A-levels and go to university and study, and I was still thinking about what I wanted to do, but I knew that it wasn't really for me. And I remember going into my A-levels, sort of the first week or so, I just remember thinking, gosh, this really, really isn't for me, and it's not what I want to do. Like, I want to be having a much bigger impact in a way that I feel I can connect to. So it was at the beginning of my A-levels that I thought, well, I'm going to get through my A-levels, but this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to go for.
Wow. And how were the people around you? How was that taken around you, considering, yeah.
Yeah, my family, alhamdulillah, they have always from day dot been really, really supportive. From when I was young and talking about it, they just thought, yeah, okay, today she's going to be a firefighter, tomorrow she's going to be a florist, it'll change.
Yeah.
But the more I spoke about it more seriously, kind of around my A-levels time, that was when I really put it to them and explained why I wanted to do it and what the reasoning was, that they really understand. And from then they've supported me 100%. They've understood that university wasn't for me, and I needed to have a different impact on the world in my own way. And yeah, from then they've always encouraged and supported me, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and that's very fortunate, isn't it? Because we do live in a society sometimes where cultural stereotypes can play a part in our career choices, and also some sectors considered to be a very male-dominated society as well. So you've been very fortunate to have that support to move you forward. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the wider community, I've had a lot of comments, a lot of negativity still thrown out. But alhamdulillah, my actual immediate unit, my mom, my cousins, aunties, uncles, husbands, in-laws, all of that, they've been incredibly supportive and never doubted what I do for a second.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're making them very proud with all this coverage in the press. When you made this choice around that 16, 17 age, in the middle of your A-levels, were you actually wearing a hijab at the time as well?
No, I actually wasn't. I wasn't at that time. I didn't start wearing my hijab until a good few years later. I was actually personal training. So when I came out of my A-levels, although I wanted to join the fire service, they weren't recruiting at the time. And so I did a couple of jobs in between, and then I became a personal trainer. And I did that for quite a lot of years. And it was in the middle of, or probably quite early on in my PT career, that I really, really started to learn a lot more about Islam and kind of found my own path and fell in love with it from my own research and understanding. And it was then that I started to wear hijab.
Yeah, and I think that's quite important just to mention that point, because not everybody wears a hijab from early on. A lot of people, like you say, are on their side, part of the journey and towards Islam, and that's when they choose to wear it. And then, and that itself can be quite not quite an emotional time, isn't it? You're going through quite a transitional time, and then during this time, you're also thinking about change, moving into this career as well. So, what were your thoughts at the time? Were you thinking that the hijab might be an obstacle in your career choice at the time? Were you a bit concerned?
I think I struggled when I did put my hijab on because of the job that I was in already. Being a personal trainer, there's not very many hijabi personal trainers anyway. And so that transition and the kind of the reaction that I had from people in the gym and clients and stuff like that wasn't always positive. And so from that, I kind of thought, gosh, I am going to face barriers. There are going to be obstacles in the way. But, I just need to find my way around them and work out how I'm going to go about it. But I don't think I really put two and two together about the fact that the hijab would be a massive barrier in the fire service because it was just something I always wanted to do. I hadn't even thought about that as a barrier. It wasn't until I actually started getting close to applying and around that time that I was like, oh, okay, this is actually... this is something new and different for the fire service, so there might be some issues here.
And was it, or have they been, it seems that they've been very supportive towards your...
Yeah, absolutely. The service themselves have been incredible. They've been really, really supportive from day dot. But I definitely experienced how different I was and how much of a new thing it was because, throughout my application process, I struggled a lot where a lot of people would say that I was only getting the job because of who I am in terms of my hijab, my religion, my gender, all of these things. And that they were the reasons I was getting in, not necessarily because of my ability or...
merit, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it was times like that I started to realise, okay, this, even though hijab for me is a massive blessing and something I've kind of achieved, I feel like I've achieved, for other people it's actually kind of almost a barrier. And so then as I was kind of starting to apply, I found that I went on an awareness day once actually, and there was a person, although he was within the fire service, there's always bad apples around or people that don't necessarily understand, no matter what sector you're in. And I remember going to this awareness day, and I had my hijab on, and we had like a BA drill, so a breathing apparatus drill, where you had to put your mask on and you had to crawl under something and whatnot. And he just kind of looked at me when it was my turn and was like, right, okay, well, let's get that thing off your head then. And then I was like a little bit gobsmacked, thinking, what do I do in this situation? And he kind of, when I said that I couldn't take it off, he kind of just scoffed at me and said, well, you can't be doing this job with that. And so at that point, I felt like I almost needed to make a choice between my faith and my dream job. So that, things like that were quite challenging at first, and they were the things that made me realize that, this is something that's very new, and there are going to be obstacles and challenges, and I'm just going to have to face them. But alhamdulillah, the service themselves, like as a whole, and the different departments and everything, they've been so supportive from the beginning. When they realized I was joining, we've had countless amount of conversations about how we would do things, what we needed to have in place, what was in place, what was the right path to take. So yeah, from day dot, they've done a really good job.
Yeah, and I think also when you get comments, negative comments, it could just be due to ignorance, and people just need educating, don't they, about why you're wearing the hijab. It's not something that you feel oppressed by, and it's a choice, isn't it? For most people, it's a choice. So I think you're really demonstrating remarkable strength and confidence, and inspiring so many other hijab-wearing women, but also other women who want to dress in a particular way that they feel fit. And I think you've really, really, trailblazing that. So thank you so much. We're going to go on a break very soon, but when we come back, we'll be asking Arusa a lot more questions. Do join in. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can comment or you can call in on 01733 602 133. Say hello, let us know you're listening, and tell us how you're listening if you're on the radio. So just coming back on a short break, and then we'll be talking more to Arusa. Okay.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Looking to improve your living space? Plan your dream home with AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms. We design, manufacture and install your perfect kitchen or bedroom to your personal space and taste, with clever storage utilising every inch. We pride ourselves on our exquisite attention to detail. Let AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms plan your perfectly tailored space, fitted around you. We also offer bespoke services for understairs storage, TV units and feature walls, all designed and manufactured by us. Call us now on 01733 686 767 or visit abjkitchensandbedrooms.co.uk. Open to the trade and public. AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms, Unit 3 Brassy Close, Peterborough, PE1 2AZ. Plan your dream home with us. abjkitchensandbedrooms.co.uk.
Everyone can now get free rapid COVID-19 tests twice a week. They show your results within 30 minutes. They also show you're doing what you can to protect your loved ones, your friends, your workmates, and that you want to keep life moving again. Around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 have no symptoms and are spreading it without knowing. That could be a friend, a relative, a workmate. It could even be you. Rapid tests are easy to get from nhs.uk/get tested. Let's take this next step safely.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Bowel cancer screening saves lives. The NHS sends everyone aged 60 to 74 a free home testing kit every 2 years. Using this test is easy and hygienic. Ask your parents and grandparents whether they have completed their screening kit. Find out more by visiting Cambridgeshire and Peterborough ccg.nhs.uk and searching bowel cancer.
Did you know that over 361,000 children die every year due to lack of clean water? Clean water is not a luxury, but a basic human right. UKIM is working to end their suffering by providing clean and safe water. This Ramadan, make a difference. Provide clean and safe water with UKIM. For donations, call now or visit ukim.org.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
In the heart of Peterborough, this is Salam Radio.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Good morning. This is Iram, and welcome back to another edition of Winning Women. We've just had a break, and we were speaking to Arusa, who's back on the line with us. Hello, Arusa.
Hi.
Hi, Harissa. Harissa, just before the break, we were talking about how your hijab has given you, you've been quite proud to demonstrate the strength that comes with it, and pursuing a career of your choice. What would you say to other people, other women out there who feel that their hijab could be an obstacle in their way to progression, opportunities? What would you say to them?
I think this world that we're living in is ever changing, and I think especially in this country, although it has been a barrier in the past, it has felt like a barrier in the past. I think what we have to focus on as Muslim women is our faith first and foremost, and if we can connect on a deeper level with our faith, with Allah, like to build that relationship and increase our faith, then everything else will kind of fall in place after that, hopefully, inshallah. Like, if you improve that relationship, hijab will just come naturally. It won't feel as such a struggle or a barrier or a potential problem in the future. And then if you do face problems, then you've got your faith to back you up. You've got that strength already inbuilt in you. So those challenges aren't as difficult anymore.
That's a really good point, actually. So, so rely on your iman, rely on your faith to pull yourself together when you have these challenging times wearing the hijab, and even not wearing. Even we have those struggles all the time. So I think that's a very good point. And you're right. I think times have changed a lot. So many more sectors have become so much more progressive and accommodating. Different religious thing. How did the fire service help accommodate your requirement for hijab in terms of the uniform?
So we had a lot of conversations from the beginning, and because it was so new, we asked around in lots of different services, and we ended up asking all around the country, all around the world, trying to find different methods that people had used or solutions that people had used before. And we had a lot of conversations from the beginning, because with me joining the job, I wasn't sure, because it was new to me, as to what the job fully entailed, what a daily basis routine was, to know what I would need and what I wouldn't. And same with the service, because of my needs as a religious person, they didn't know what I would need. So we discussed a lot from the beginning, and we found that we found a few different solutions that we kind of took little steps by. At first, I was wearing the night hijab just through training, and we realized that the material wouldn't be quite right for a fire. So me and my auntie designed a cotton-based one on a similar sort of pattern design to the night one. We made our own. We started using that, and then from that we wanted to kind of take it a step further and see what else was there around in the world. And then we tried a few different styles out, and eventually found one that worked well, which is actually from Thailand, and that's the one that I currently wear. So I wear that with my uniform at the minute, and it's practical, it's safe, there's no issues. But we are still wanting to make our own product in the UK that we can kind of utilise better. So that's still in the pipeline yet, but of course with everything, COVID got in the way, so we're still working on that at the minute.
That's amazing. Wow. And I'm presuming that this could actually be used in other different emergency services as well, who require headgear as well in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely, because although it's within the fire service, it's actually not fire retardant or fireproof in any way. It's simply just a base layer. It's the same as we wear clothes underneath our PPE, our protective equipment, the same way that we wear underwear and we have hair on our heads. It applies the same to that. So we don't actually have, this hijab doesn't need to be fireproof in any way, so it can be used in other sectors as well.
Yeah. Marisa, how does it feel that sometimes, do you feel your hijab is talking more than your work at the moment, or are you happy, are you quite like the idea?
Sorry, say that one again, sorry.
Do you feel your hijab sometimes talks more than your work? Do you feel as if the emphasis is mainly on your hijab? Is that people's reaction when they see you? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I think it's different, because when people first see me at a job or at an incident, or when we go to schools or people's homes and stuff, everyone is usually very shocked and surprised to see me. and they don't necessarily believe that I am a firefighter. They think that perhaps I work in the office somewhere or in the control room. But then when they see me with all my kit and my team and we're all there together, that's when they kind of realize that, oh gosh, she's actually doing the job itself, and she is capable of doing the job. So, sometimes it's a positive reaction, sometimes it's negative, but definitely there's a lot of surprise there when they first see me.
Mm-hmm. And what gives you a lot of pride now, Arisa, having done the role for 2 years? What are you most proud of?
I think that being able to achieve doing the job in the first place, like that was a massive thing for me, because I wasn't sure that I'd be able to do it. There's a lot of competition to try to get to this job, and it is tough. The whole process is tough. So achieving that in itself was amazing. But I think now, with all the coverage that we've had, the media and all of that, it's been quite incredible to actually see the impact that me in my role is having on other people, especially on women, especially on younger women and children. I've had a lot of people message me, call me, talk to me about the impact and the influence that I'm having on them or their daughters. People have been crying to me on the phone. It's incredible. It's quite incredible. And seeing the reactions of children definitely is the best thing for me. That really does melt my heart.
Oh, and what sort of conversations are you having with them? What are people? And what?
It's incredible. Like I remember going to a school. I think it was before COVID, so a year or two ago, and it was mostly white children. There were a few coloured children, and there was this one little Asian girl who naturally, as we were showing them around the truck, she just kind of clung to me, and she just kind of looked up at me towards the end and was like, I can't wait to be a fire engine like you when I grow up.
Oh, yeah, there's a bit seeing it as a role model. That's so lovely. And I think we need them in our society for different, definitely. But equally, what's the most challenging part of your job?
I think the most challenging part is when you're at an incident and you know that there's nothing more that you can do, or you can't help that situation any further. Like, for example, certain places, if there is a fire and it's already gone too far, and although people might be safe and we don't have to save anyone else, but the building itself is kind of gone beyond saving or repair, and we kind of have to protect it but just let it burn. Things like that, incidents where we can't actually do any more. That's the real struggle.
And how hard is it to not take some of this emotional turmoil home with you?
I think it is difficult. It's a skill that you definitely have to learn, and it takes time to learn. But there's a lot of support and things in place within the service that kind of help you in those situations. Like your team themselves are like the best people that you can go to when you have difficult incidents that you go to, or scenarios that you go to. We'll sit down around the table, have a cup of tea and talk about it, and kind of air out what we're feeling, and because you know that the person next to you is going through the same sort of thing. And then we have a lot of different services within our service that offer support and guidance and kind of peer support in those areas as well. So although it is difficult to not take it home with you, there are a lot of things to help you in that.
That's really good. So your team is a huge focal point in bouncing support off one another, and
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And what would you say? What do you feel so proud of accomplishing so far in your role?
I'm not sure. I think so many different small aspects come into it. Being able to get through, to be able to go to schools now and give that talk the same way that I had a talk when I was at that age, and the lasting impact that I know it had on me, to be able to then give that back to the community and help. And, the different things that we've done throughout COVID to help the communities, taking food to food banks and delivering medications. And, a lot of the service has been even doing the jabs and stuff like that. And these kind of things are what you make you feel proud of doing the job that you're doing.
Right, okay. So I didn't realise it played a very active role, actually. So I think one of the things you're also doing is educating people on the other things that the fire service do. It's not just out on call outs like this. It's helping during, like you said, with the jabs and food,
Yeah, I mean,
etc.
our role is so broad. A lot of people think, okay, firefighters, so they fight fires, but there's actually so much more that we do in our role.
Right.
That it's non-stop. That we're always busy doing something or the other, whether it's education, whether it's prevention, whether it's investigation. Sometimes we're going into people's homes, into schools, into different clubs, people's homes to actually like fit smoke alarms. But even incidents are so varied. You know, when you have like a water rescue job, we'll be there. Animal rescue jobs will be there. If it's chemical jobs, will be there. So, you know, the job itself is so varied and covers so much ground. It's incredible.
Wow, sounds so interesting. What do you enjoy the most in all those different roles?
To be honest, I can't help but enjoy the fighting the fires the best.
Oh, right, okay.
that's got to be the highlight of it all.
Oh, okay. And what would you say to women who want to come into this profession? You said a lot of people have contacted you as well. What advice do you give them?
I think it's all about, if it's something that you really truly want to do, no matter what it is, whether it is the fire service or anything else, as long as you put your mind to it and you put the effort in to do it, you're going to be able to achieve it. You've just got to push for it and work for it, and you can achieve it. You know, there's so many people around now, so many things around that can help you and support you and guide you through it. You've just got to look for them, talk to people, find them, and then just work super hard.
Yeah, and when you made the choice to come into the fire service, Arusa, how did you actually prepare? It probably helped you being a personal trainer beforehand. I'm presuming for your physical fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot that went into while I was applying, that whole process, because you have a lot of different tests that you go through.
All right.
So
okay.
of course you have the physical test, and for that, alhamdulillah, because I was a personal trainer, I was already training hard, but I actually needed to train a lot harder to be able to get into the job, more on the strength side of it. You know, it took a lot of commitment and training on a regular basis, but you also have sort of the theory side of it as well, like English and maths tests we have to do, mechanical tests, judgment tests, situational awareness tests, and then you go into like your swimming tests, medical tests, and of course you do your interviews and your presentations. So there's a lot of skills that you have to kind of bring together to be able to do this job. And so it took a lot of work, a lot of preparation. It was months and months and months of preparation before I managed to apply and get through.
Wow. And what about as you're in the job, what sort of things do you do to maintain your training fitness levels?
Well, it's continuous. So like, alhamdulillah, we actually have an hour set aside of our shifts where we can train on the job. Okay. So obviously, if we were to get a call, we'd go. But we do have that time set aside. So we not only do we train at work, but we also then train at home in different areas, depending on sort of what you're into, whether that's gym-based training, strength training, cardio training, whether it's a sport of some kind, whether it's swimming, walking, hiking, whether it's martial arts.
Wow.
You know, like there's all sorts of different areas that you can kind of indulge in to get yourself to the right fitness state.
Yeah, and do something that you enjoy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you have different shift patterns as well, Arusa?
Yeah. So we work on 12-hour shifts, and our pattern is actually on 8 days. So we, rather than a 7-day week, we have an 8-day week. So we do 2-day shifts of 12 hours, 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. And then that's followed by 2 night shifts, which are 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then you get 4 days off.
Okay, good.
So yeah, it's quite intense for the days that you're on, but then you do get your few days off as well.
And how do you spend your time when you're off, Arusa?
A lot of my time is spent with family and family commitments. That's where a lot of my time is spent.
Okay. And then do you do anything, and in terms of creating awareness of what you're doing, how impactful has that been on a personal front for you? What sort of mark do you think you're leaving for everyone?
It's quite strange, as I said. Like, I didn't actually anticipate any of this happening or it becoming as big as it's become. But now that I'm kind of hearing everyone's responses to it and people's feedback, it does make me feel proud and makes me feel that I have actually achieved something that's going to benefit future generations. So I've broken down those barriers to start off with, so that the next person that comes into the job doesn't have such a difficult time, and they don't have to face those barriers.
Yes.
I do feel proud that I've been able to kind of take those away to make that a little bit easier for the next person and the person after that. You know, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, good. And in terms of career progression, where do you see yourself, moving forward in terms of your the moment you're a firefighter? Where would you see yourself in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room for progression, and you can go up the ladder with the fire service. There's a whole list full of things that you can do to go upwards or sideways. But me personally, I joined the job specifically to be a firefighter and to be doing the active role and being out and about and all the physical side of it. That was what really drew me in. And so I don't really have many intentions of going up the ladder. However, one thing that I do really want to achieve at some point is to be able to drive the fire engine. So that's definitely on my list to do.
And so that's not for everyone. Do you have to earn that position?
Yeah, kind of. So you go through a separate amount of training for that, because your responsibilities are different, and obviously it's definitely not a car. It's a lot bigger. So driving that is a lot more responsibility, and you need a lot more training for that. So that comes separately.
This sounds so fun, Arusa. Thank you for sharing all of this.
It is. It's so much fun.
Arusa, what traits do you think people need? Because so many people have aspirations when they're young, but how can they tell if it's something serious? What would you say to them?
I think a lot of people think that for the fire service, you need to be a strong man and completely fearless and kind of not have a care in the world. But actually, the role of a firefighter is so diverse now. Like I mentioned before, we have so many different areas that we work in that you actually need to be a very well-rounded person. You need to be able to work well in a team. You need to have really good communication skills, because you have to deal with a lot of people of all different types, you know, different ages, different genders, different religions, different cultures, different languages, all these different things. You need to be able to communicate well enough and be empathetic to a lot of people. You need to be able to kind of be cool and calm in a situation, but that doesn't mean be fearless. You know, of course, it's a dangerous job and there are risks, but that doesn't mean that none of us are scared. We're still all human, and it's okay to be scared. It's just about how you manage and how you deal with those things. And things like problem solving are so important. That's a really, really big skill to have in this job, to be able to think outside the box and think, okay, how do I deal with this current situation in front of me, and how do I solve this issue? I mean, there's a whole list of different skills that you need to have for this job. But what a lot of people find is they actually do have these skills. They just haven't quite yet found them yet, or found how to utilize them. And so, you know, some people might look at this and say, oh gosh, I've never worked in a team. I don't think I could do that. But just because you haven't done it before, or you haven't had much experience, or you've perhaps not had a good team around you before, doesn't mean that you can't be a good team player and work well in a team. You just need to find those skills and kind of bring them out a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think also, Arusa, we are often we often only have that school visit, so maybe that's why as well. You know, it's a bit hard to consider it as a career later down the line, because I think that's the only time when I remember ever seeing a firefighter, perhaps. You know. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, especially in our communities, we don't even talk about fire. We don't talk about fire safety. We don't talk about firefighters. We don't even hardly know anything about what the fire service does.
And we need to, because the amount of frying we do.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like one of the most common causes of fires is in the kitchen, and usually with hot oil. And look at our communities, you know, how much do we do that, and how much, you know, usually we have big families, there's a lot of people around, we get distracted, there's a lot going on, kids running around.
Flowy clothes.
You know, there's so many accidents waiting to happen, and we need to talk about this a lot more. You know, the amount of people in our own communities that I've spoken to that say, what do you mean, what's a smoke alarm? Why do I need to have a smoke alarm in my house? Like, you know, we're lacking so much of that education because we haven't built those bridges between the service and these communities. So we need to keep building on that so that we can learn and we can, one, be safer in our homes, but then two, also think about it as a career, because, you know, I link this job to Islam a lot of the time, because I think a lot of the qualities you need to be a Muslim are also the same qualities you need to be a firefighter. You know, helping people, working in the community, helping to improve people's lives, helping people that are in danger or at risk in some way. All of these things that we are told to do, helping your neighbor, you know, the basics of it all these things that we're taught in Islam also correlate really, really well with the job. And, you know, one of the most, one of the most important verses to me that works well between the two is the one where it's that if you save the life of one, it's like you've saved the whole of humanity. You know, that's in our Islam. That's something that we pride ourselves on. And what better? There's not many better ways that you can do that than being a firefighter. But we don't actually consider that as a career in our communities, and it's something we really need to open our eyes to and open our minds to think that it is possible and it is doable and it's a noble career. You know.
It is. I think that's a very interesting point you've raised there, Rusa, because most people, when they think of a profession that's going to link with their Islamic faith, they think of perhaps a medical career, but they don't really. But you're right. You know, that's exactly what you're doing. You're fighting for in the way of helping other people, etc. So the emergency service, I think you raised a very, very good point there. Rusa, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
If they want to get in touch, they can email me on my work email, which is Rusa, so it's UROOSA .ARSHID at not-fire.gov.uk. So you can email me on there, and I will, inshallah, get back in touch with you with anything that you need. In any way that I can help.
And Rusa, have you actually chosen to work in your hometown? Is that right? Is that you working?
Well, I'm from Derby. That's where I've grown up, but I moved to Nottingham a good few years ago, and then this is where I work.
Yeah, and does that give you a lot of pride, knowing that you're helping your own town, your own community?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Knowing that I'm actually making a difference here with people that that we know, that we care about, that knowing that our own people are safe in our communities, that is really important to me.
Yeah, I think definitely. What would you say to other people and thinking about taking a career choice, but but considering so many obstacles, be it a male-dominated society, be it the hijab, it could be so many things that we create excuses and obstacles in our way. What would you say to them?
I think everyone is on their own journey, and everyone has their own opinions based on where their belief is and what obstacles are realistic for them. But I mean, working for me in a male-dominated environment, I mean, again, it's ever changing. I mean, we are employing a lot more women, a lot more people of different faiths and cultures and backgrounds at the minute. So it is changing, and someone has to make those steps for it to get better. But I haven't at all struggled in terms of the male-dominated area, because we all just work as a team. And it's not, you don't really think about, okay, this person is this or that person is that. You just work together and kind of find people's skills and take from those skills and work together like that. You don't necessarily feel those struggles. And if you have those obstacles in front of you, that's how you'll find your strength. You know, if you don't ever actually take those risks and go over obstacles and face different challenges, you're not going to be able to change in yourself. You're not going to be able to improve in yourself and find those strengths that you have.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to challenge yourself, I think.
Fabulous, Arusa. Thank you so much for those inspiration words. I hope you're all taking notes. It's so lovely to have you on today. We are unfortunately coming to an end. I've learned so much about the fire service. I've learned so much about the correlation between the religion aspect and this. Thank you. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll see you on another edition of Weekly Women next week. This is your host, Iram Shah. Take care.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio.